This blog post was actually supposed to happen on July 4th because 4th of July is my recovery date. It's the day we, decided that that would be the day that we celebrated my recovery from my eating disorder and self-harm and suicidal ideations every year since 2009, I do believe. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And I also was going to share some of the journals I had written back then so you could understand the difference between me now and me then. Now, I will say that I will put a trigger warning on this because I'm not going to edit what I say, what was written back then, because that is what I believed and what I thought. So there's no reason for me to lie about it. So, if you have a problem with that, then I suggest you not watch, or not watch unless you're with somebody safe or in a safe state of recovery. So, here we go, out of the journal. First of all, I'm gonna say the journal, the night that my recovery actually started, and that would be July 4th, 2009. I had written, "I am so sick of fighting a losing battle. Everyone wants me to eat and just push through the pain. I can't. I can't stand this body. I'm trapped and all fat and out of control. I want to give up most of the time. I spend most of my time as high as I can on all the meds that the psych doctors give me to try to tell me to calm down and feel better. So basically, I'm a zombie all the time. This treatment center is my only hope, and that's if we can get Medicaid to pay for it. And we've been told pretty much not to get our hopes up. I need help, and each day I lose a little bit more faith that it will ever happen. I feel the razor calling. My skin is crawling, like I can't even say, deeper and deeper until all the pain bleeds away. I want to cut. I can't keep pretending that I'm doing okay. I'm tired of pretending, of not having any friends. Fat deserves punishment. I deserve pain, and a lot of it." I wrote that. And a few minutes after I wrote that, I took a razor blade to my wrist, and it was bad. I actually, my boyfriend, who wasn't even my boyfriend then, he was my friend, now he's my husband, came home from a party he had been at, and he found me. I was in my bedroom and I wouldn't let anybody in, and he broke in the bedroom, and I was laying there with my arm just sitting there, and it was just bleeding everywhere, and I ended up needing 8 stitches. And that night he sat down with me, and he said, after we were done at the hospital, he sat down with me and he said, you need to make a choice. He goes, "You've already tried to commit suicide." He goes, "You spend all your days zombied out on pills, trying to sleep all day. You won't eat, you won't drink, you won't do anything to take care of yourself. You just got diagnosed with this disease that you have, and if you continue to treat yourself like this, you're going to get sicker a lot quicker." He goes, "I know you don't love you." He goes, "But I care deeply about you a lot. Like, I really love, he didn't say love, he said, I really, really, really feel very strongly for you, and I don't want anything to happen to you." He goes, "But you have to make the choice to get better." And that night, in his arms, I made the choice to get better. And July 4th kind of became my own Independence Day. It was a long battle uphill. I'm not going to say that it was quick or easy, because it wasn't. I battled monsters for years, and I still do. I often hear people tell me on a regular basis that, "Oh, you're recovered. It's been 5 years." I'm not recovered. I don't ever say the word recovered. I'm recovering, and I battle every day. I battle the monster in my head every day. The only difference is now is she's further in the back of my head, and I don't notice her very often. Back in the days when I wrote in this journal, that's all that existed, was the monster. When you looked at me, when you looked into my eyes, that's all you saw, was that monster staring back at you. Now, when she comes into my head and she's telling me I'm fat and worthless and no one will ever love me and I'm a bad mom and a bad wife and I deserve to die and I deserve this and I deserve that and I should do this and I should do that and I should cut and starve and purge and all that stuff, I now have the strength to tell that monster to shut up, to go to hell, and push her back into the cobwebs. And I also have a good support team. My husband's very good about helping me through when I'm having a hard time. And I'm pretty honest when I'm having a hard time. I'll be honest about it. And it's you know, it's not easy. I know some people get really angry when I say that I don't believe that you're cured. But when you go as far as I did with my eating disorder, I don't believe you ever fully come back. I believe that you're back, but I believe that it always lives inside of you, waiting for the moment to where it could try to get a foothold in and let you get control of you again. And I fight every day to make sure that that doesn't happen. And you know, I spent 8 years of my life in and out of hospitals with tubes down my nose, being force fed, and out of treatment centers. Just didn't have any will to live or anything like that. I just didn't care. That monster was inside of me, and that after I cut that night, I made the decision to get better. And it wasn't an overnight thing, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I had to go and get rid of the psychiatrist who had me on a death cocktail, got off all my meds. Not that I'm recommending that if you're on meds you should stop them, because I'm not a doctor. For me, the meds were making me worse. I needed off them. For you, they could be doing wonders. Please don't ever stop medicine without talking to a doctor. But what I'm saying is that, you know, I got my Independence Day on July 4th, and it's been 5 years since I've engaged in eating disordered behavior, or suicidal ideations, or anything like that, and I don't even want to, mainly because, you know, of the little boy that I have upstairs, that, you know, he loves me, and my husband loves me, and I can't even imagine. Here, I can show you. I'm working on a project for my husband. I'll show you. This is the first page of our book with our kids, and as you can see, that's my husband at our wedding ceremony, which we're having another one, a whole family one that's really going to be nice. And this is the day that my whole life changed when I had my son. Everything changed, because going back to who I was no longer an option anymore, because I needed him. And I know a lot of girls that sometimes don't quite, you know, they're not quite ready for that. But I will show you a lot of the stuff that I used to think. This is what anorexia comes off as when you're sick. And these are not healthy thoughts. These are not normal thoughts. I used to write on here. I know it's backwards, but it's I can fix that actually. Hold on. But I'm pretty much, you know, it was very, sorry, I know it just switched, but so you can see what this says. I used to write, wrong way, damaged, the difference between want and need is self-control, smile so they don't see, I quoted song lyrics that were not good song lyrics. I often quoted all about eating disorders. Everything I wrote was about eating disorders. I wanted to get married, and this is what I did to the picture of the wedding dress that I liked. This was the monster in my head, you know, and I know people might not agree with seeing this, but this is true. This is the monster. And, you know, part of it, sometimes it would come out that I was upset, you know, and this exact post, I'm scared, but I said I'm scared, but yet underneath I wrote, I'm disgusting and fat. July 28th, 2008, I said, I know deep down that I'm out of control, but I don't know how to stop. I swallowed diet pills, a bottle of phosphosoda, diuretics, and I feel like crap, and why can't I stop this? I don't want to do this anymore. And then the next next week later, I'm sitting in a hospital getting a feeding tube shoved down my nose. I would, literally, everything was revolving around this monster in my head. I'm dreading, instead of writing about things that were life, I would write about, I'm dreading the scale. It's like it will dictate my day. Even when it's down, I'm not happy because it will never be down enough. Why can't I just be fine with that? With what I am. Instead, I hate my reflection. I just, I was trying so hard, but yet I couldn't stop. I would decide I wasn't going to eat. I would write things again like that. After writing about how I wanted to live, I would write things like that. I would, got admitted. I mean, literally, this was my life. This was my life. This was my whole existence, is things like this. Things like, all I ever said was fat failure. My mom died, and all I could talk about was the fact that I was fat. That's all I could talk about when my mom died, was that I was too fat. Maybe she wouldn't have died if I wasn't so fat. I mean, this is what this journal says, and I keep this journal to remind me of what I never want to go back to, because I never ever want to be this person again. I never ever ever want to be this person again. I really don't. I mean, every word in this diary is just crap. It's just lies from this horrible thing in my head that was telling me how worthless I was, and I couldn't get away from it. And I keep this, not because, and it doesn't trigger me anymore, because I can read this and I think, did I really do this? Did I really believe this about myself? And I did. And so I know that there's a lot of you out there that believe this, that have journals filled with this kind of stuff, that have journals filled calling yourself fat and worthless and hideous and ugly and all this stuff, but it's a lie. It's all lies. It's bull. It's bullshit, okay? Forgive me for my cursing, but it's bull. It's crap. These are lies. There's a monster in your head that is telling you that you can't recover, that you deserve everything that's written down in that diary of yours. Everything that tells you how worthless you are. Everything that tells you you can't recover. I was told by doctors that I couldn't recover. They said I would never get better. They said I was a chronic anorexic who'd be living on an adult psych unit with a tube down my nose for the rest of my life, or I would just die. Most of my friends from back then would tell you that they were just waiting for me to die. Because that's what I was. I was just a walking, talking eating disorder. That's what I was. And I promise you, if you're there right now, you don't have to be. I promise you, you don't. Because the thing is that everything you write bad about yourself in a journal, and everything you say when you look in a mirror and you call yourself fat, and you count your calories and you write your calories down and you talk about how hideous you are, it's all that lie, that monster in your head. Because you know what? The longer you listen to her, the harder it is to get her to shut up. Believe me, I listened to her for 8 years, and it took me a really long time, and I still have a hard time to tell that bitch to shut up. She just wants to claim you. It's a monster that wants to kill you. The disease will kill you. It takes control, and all of a sudden you stop being you and you start being a walking, talking eating disorder. You lose everything that puts light in your eyes. I mean, I don't have any pictures nearby, but if you saw a picture of me back during my eating disorder, I had dead eyes. I was not smiling. I didn't care about anything. My whole mind just went from eating disorder, eating disorder, eating disorder, eating disorder. And that's what happens. I promise you, you are so much more than this. You are so much more than this. And you can have 5 years of recovery too. You can. You can start today. It doesn't have to end today, but you can make the choice that you're going to work your way up and out of all this. And you can stop writing these things about yourself. because you're beautiful and you don't deserve it, okay? Please don't hurt yourself no more. Please. Because you don't deserve it. You didn't earn this.